Hey everyone, I'm Coach Wolverine.
Coach Kelowna.
And since it's this season, we decided to talk about the expectations that are held around the holidays and how we fit into that, how you fit into that, how your family, your friends, and basically everything around this lovely holiday. What are the expectations that you have held over the holidays?
I think, with me, we go back home. That's the big one. If we can, we make it back home. There's a few years, I know, depending on work, I would go to the point, go as far as I would just tell my work that I wasn't going to be there. I'd be like, hey, I'm not going to be there. You can give me the day off or not, but I'm just not going to be there.
I'm not asking, I am just telling you.
So that's an expectation. We get back, and then we just spend time together. Right. There's not a lot of gift giving expectations. There's not a lot of stuff. I know growing up, I have a huge family. We would do basically a lottery, and it would get mailed out by our, because it was snail mail days, but it would get mailed out. This is who you have. It would cross over, I think it was probably around the 100 mark at the time when that was happening. So
right
now it'd be insane. But that was more of an expectation then, and those kind of traditions don't always stick forever, but everyone kind of has their own. But yeah, we don't really do a gift exchange, Secret Santa type thing. We just do we grab everything, we have the conversations, we help each other out, we kind of all come together. But expectation-wise is no, we make the trip back to Golden.
That's good. So what's an unhealthy expectation that you see then that you feel should change around the holidays?
In general, I think just being honest with the expectations as far as gift giving goes, right? Everyone being involved in what we learned it in business, right? People are more willing to take on debt over the holidays to give things to other people that stretch them thinner than they are at any other time of the year. So,
and alluding to our past conversation, the intention isn't I want to give this out of my heart. It's I have to buy this gift because I have the expectation to fulfill giving this present.
You want to go back a few weeks, so that's being nice, not being kind.
Exactly.
You have to be kind to yourself first.
Yeah.
Right? You can come up with things that are both thoughtful and heartwarming that don't break the bank.
Yeah. I was literally just having this conversation actually with Brooklyn the other day as to the expectations around gifts, or if I was to buy somebody a $100 gift, if I was to hold on to the expectation that they had to
also
do the same thing, that tit for tat thing. And it's just not that I hold that expectation of if I spend this much, I'm expecting this much, right? I'm under the impression of if I spend this much money on a gift, right? That's my choice, right? Or if I choose to make a gift, for a good one for say a significant other would be a couponing book, one good for one free back rub, or good for one free foot rub, or good for doing the dishes extra this week, or something like that, and something fun and thoughtful. And there's somebody else I had a conversation with this or about this months ago, and they just on that idea. It's no, that's stupid. I'm why is that stupid though? But it's because they were under that impression that it's the monetary value.
It's a transactionary thing, right?
Yeah, when it's as you were saying, it's spending time with people whom you love. If these last couple years have taught us anything, is to never take time with the people we love for granted. We don't know they're going to be there tomorrow. Hell, we don't know they're going to be there when we get home.
Yeah.
So it's always just always be thankful for anything and everything and look for that.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing that needs to change is you need to set realistic expectations, right? I don't have kids, I don't have family, so I'll never understand the pressure of a parent to give their kids stuff if they're stretching themselves thin. I don't think I'll ever, one day I'll probably get it.
To stick in with the status quo, right? It's
and that's just
all
it,
of my
right?
kids' friends are going to have X
this
amount of creds of the tree, and it's not fair to parents that are struggling either.
So that's definitely different. Not touching on that because I can't directly relate to that, and I have no idea. But when it comes to giving gifts to friends or your immediate family and stuff, if you can't, just make it clear. Hey, this is what I can do. This is what I'm gonna do. We're gonna spend time together. We can make things happen. We can do this. We can do that.
Yeah.
But just know I don't have the expectations otherwise. But also we want everyone around us to succeed. It's okay, awesome, that's fine. Guess what? Let's just keep moving forward. Like, how do we make it better for the next year? And that's, I think, what the holidays should be about, right? Spending time with family. It's like, okay, like this, there's going to be hard stuff that we went through this year. Like, when we do it next year, how do we do it better? Not, let's set myself up for failure by eating too much, drinking too much. Not even, like, that's not even health, like, financially, that's just health-wise. And then you want to do financial stuff where you throw yourself way back if you weren't budgeted accordingly for Christmas and yada, yada, yada. But
if you're, this is how I kind of look at it. You know, especially from a coaching aspect, right? And I'm sure a lot of your clients at times will talk to you about finances and stuff like that too. I feel, now of course this is just an opinion, I feel though that if you enter the holidays, or if I enter the holidays, and I have an expectation that I have to hold of an image of something, like types of gifts, types of food, and all that good stuff. If I have to put it on credit, I'm doing it wrong. Right? Is the difference if I'm choosing to put it on credit for like points or bonus rewards or something like that? But if I don't have the money in my account, but I'm trying to uphold a identity of giving extravagant gifts or throwing an extravagant meal, I believe that I'm doing it wrong, because I'm not even living within my own integrity. I'm trying to please other people by putting myself into some sort of debt.
It's short term versus long term, again, which we've talked about, right? It will make people feel good short term, and you're sacrificing your long term. So now, like, your next quarter, you're gonna be stressed.
Yeah, but then that boils back to being nice, not kind.
Exactly. So being kind would be being kind and being integral and being honest would be much more important for the relationships than, hey, like, I'm gonna buy you this Xbox, but then you're gonna eat tuna sandwiches for the next 4 months while I figure that out. Like, that's not like, that's not a good thing, right?
I like tuna.
Yeah, so that's like the conversation you need to have, right? I mean, it's totally different. Like, we also, I guess, doing the coaching, like, we've made decisions to live what would be considered like borderline poverty line. Is essentially when you want to start a business, that's what you skirt, is you skirt what would be considered the quite low class living, no lavish anything when you want to make it happen.
It's the rule of question when you want to get something is this a want or is this a need?
Exactly. It really puts a lot of stuff in perspective. So I know it's from the Bible, but I have no idea what it is. Basically, they talk about, like, you're giving donations, right? And if you have, say, $10,000 extra and you donate $10,000, and I have, or $10,000 extra and you donate $1,000, you're donating like a tenth, right, of what you could. I have $100, I donate $99. Like, I'm donating almost everything I have. Who's actually like doing the bigger deed? And it's the person that's giving up more.
Yep.
And that's the other side of it, right? We don't see that. So we're more likely to praise the person that gave more, but did they give more?
Exactly.
Right? And if someone can't give you the material things, which we've talked about extensively, that material is not the things you want to focus on, but they're going to, like, cook a good meal, drive for hours to see people, do these things. That is so much more important than any gift, right? Like, I've gotten like knitted hats that I will literally never wear in my entire life, but like, thank you, I appreciate it.
My great grandma, some knitted slippers. It's like, thanks, grandma. They're either too warm or too itchy, but the thought is ridiculously
one of a kind.
And they're one of a kind pair of slippers.
No, I'm like, I'm at the age now where I'm like, I'll take a pack of socks because none of mine match. So like, that's where it is. I get it, right? Yeah. But those things, right? We took for granted as a kid, and it's a part of being a kid. Like Christmas, you want to go rip stuff apart and
of course,
and get shiny, fancy things, and then text your friends. But you got to learn sooner than later that ain't it.
No.
And the cool thing is the more grateful you are, and the more you help the people around you, and the more like surplus of good energy you create. Guess what's going to happen? Yeah. Everyone's going to be doing better when it comes to time too. Everyone that you keep close. And that transactionary stuff that you used to worry about is going to happen automatically. It's going to be bigger, better, stronger. It's going to come from a better place. You're not going to have these expectations back and forth. You're not going to have the resentment if something gets like slanted. And I think that is so much more powerful, and it harks back to why we're talking about be honest, be integral, and bring the people around you to a higher level. If you're up, if you're not, if you're on the lower rung, well, do everything you can to get there.
Yep. I also want to touch on how the expectations around the holidays are part of the status quo.
Yeah, which is, yeah.
Right? Because there's an expectation. So I know a person who on Christmas Day, in years prior, before our lost years, they would keep their place of business open on Christmas Day and put their own money into making a turkey meal for those who couldn't afford it. And people would, of course, the people that would go to the meal were ridiculously appreciative for it. And, from me on the outside looking in, I'm like, those are genuinely good-hearted people. But I remember overhearing conversations or comments of people asking me like, well, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you stay at home with your family? And why wouldn't you be buying gifts? Or why wouldn't you do this? Or why wouldn't you do that? As opposed to just respecting the fact that they chose to inject their own money into buying like 5 turkeys to feed people, either the homeless or people that just that went to the business, right? That are less fortunate. And that's when I realized that it's like, that expectation around the holidays is the status quo. It's like it is part of the norm. I got another buddy that manages a large box store, and he says he can't stand the last 3 years of the month of the year, the 3 months of the year.
I got you.
Because
Q4.
Yeah. Second take, mulligan. Because they're flat out of people just going in and buying all of these material things to prepare for Christmas, right? But then the rest of the 9 months, it's like average. But then those last 3 months, it's like from open to close. To the point where their systems went down last week. Like the whole thing crashed.
And it's so busy. And I think like we have to acknowledge that social media is a problem in this regard too. Because like we've noted it before.
Whole other can of worms there too.
Like, we want to take the fancy family photo. We want to do these things. We want to be like, this is my year. I had the best time ever. But if I scroll back like 5 times, I know you didn't. Like it's okay. And like there's no like the status quo doesn't matter if like you're setting yourself up for failure. It's I know people that do it, right? Like retail therapy is a joke. it's like it is a real thing. You get your dopamine and your whatever hits from it, but it's like that is not a good way to cope with anything.
You want to know a great trick to nip that in the bud? If you ever have clients that deal with this. So this is one that I've used with my clients actually, is I ask them, I'm like, okay, how much per hour do you make? Right? And say, let's just say for round figure numbers, it's $20 an hour. Okay. So I'm like, okay, you want this jacket. It's $200. That means that jacket is worth 10 hours of your time. Is that jacket worth 10 hours of your time? Is that jacket worth almost 2 and a partial days worth of your work just to have that jacket? And if the answer is, if it's not a yes, right, then it's, probably shouldn't buy it, right? When you exchange the value of $1 to the value of your time, we look at everything differently. And if you want to open up the can of marketing and how that stuff goes, like why is it so much easier to go and spend $20 on a meal, but if you're to buy 2 extra things for groceries, that would equate to $20, you don't want to do it.
It's ridiculous. Like I won't spend $24 on a thing of chicken breasts, but I'll spend $18 on a pita for lunch.
Exactly.
Like it's the convenience cost, and like I know it. I've done it. I've written papers on it.
Yep.
But it's there, right? Yep. And it's that immediate thing that we want. And like food's a little different because like if you're strapped, you need lunch. You're gonna pay for it. But it's like okay, well if I want to save money, I got to plan.
Yep.
But the 2 hours of planning and cooking versus the like say you eat out 3 times, each meal costs $20, so it's like 2 hours or 3. I've actually saved myself an hour and money. So I'm up a surplus of like 4 hours of time.
Exactly.
And that's how you need to, like time and money need to be interchangeable. Just be careful we're not over or undervaluing your time.
So then we could actually use this analogy directly towards funding the holidays. Yeah. Right? If a person, let's just use the $20 an hour example again, is wanting to put on a certain show for Christmas, right? They buy their gifts for the kids or for their family or the meal. And this entire organized event ends up costing, say, $2,000, which is not out of a ballpark at all.
No.
Especially for a family of 4 or 5 with some extended relatives to come over. $2,000, that's easy. What's the math of that? 200 hours? That means that you spent 200 hours of your personal time to put on a meal for that day, as opposed to just appreciating the fact that you are spending quality time with quality people in your life.
That is your first 5. That takes you up to the second week of February if you put it on credit.
Exactly.
So if you
and
want,
that's putting everything you make till the second February onto back, paying it back. We're not even paying for your normal monthly bills.
And not so that unrealistic, but if we just boil it down to time, you've basically said, hey, week of February, like second week of February is when I start like caring about me again.
Yeah. So literally a month and a half out of the year towards one day.
One day, and pending on your dynamic, may or may not be appreciated at all.
Exactly. Be mindful of Hallmark holidays and what the true meaning of them actually is to you.
If you're gonna spend your time and you're gonna spend your money, make sure it's on people that are gonna appreciate it. And I don't mean that like in a bad way, but also appreciate the people around you in the same way too.
It's also making sure we appreciate it.
100%.
Not
right?
that we're doing it because we legitimately truly want to, not because we feel like we have to, because Jack and Jane down the street are one-upping us again.
Move.
Exactly, right? It's we must stop comparing what we are building in our life to somebody else just to, well, and yeah, you're right with the social media comments, like that's spot on. A lot of it is just for show. It's not even just the act of doing it. It's literally to post that darn picture up on
of my meal or my family or whatever, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Hey world,
okay.
I'm having a great time. When in hindsight, you know, it's utter chaos, right? You know, a lot of family dinners are.
And they're the worst. I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I cook real boring food for like 11 months a year. So the Christmas trip is phenomenal for me.
I enjoy the good food. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, like it just all these things they have so much value, but if we're not looking at it and we're just strictly looking at it as a transactionary thing, it's not good.
No.
Right? When we even talking about the time and money thing, it's like only do that for an assessment of yourself. Do not do that in regards to that's what you expect out of someone else.
Exactly.
That is not what the holidays are about. There's no tit for tat. There's no transaction. There's no anything.
Mm-hmm.
I know a couple of people like really close to me. They set limits on their Christmas gifts.
Yep.
Like, hey, don't go nuts because I'm not gonna. Let's just agree on something. And if we want to have a night together, we have more to do that together. So that makes more sense, right? Like
that's what my family did too.
Yeah.
Draw names out of a hat. Here's the limit. Go buy for the one person. Like I have a big family, so as opposed to me buying 6 gifts, 5 gifts, it's okay. You know. Parents, sibling, good.
Easy, right? And now, like, everything right now is so communicated between, like, me and my sisters for my parents, and, like, we've kind of shifted where it's like, thank you so much for all the Christmases and the real trees and the everything, but it's like, hey, what do you want? And they say nothing, and then we're like, okay, well, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
So, everyone's got a lot of work to do over the holidays. Don't make it any more stressful than we have to.
No.
Don't ruin the... I can't say ruin, but don't tax your first 6 weeks of next year. 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Like don't put yourself behind, because guess what happens if you just constantly do it every year?
Yeah. Focus on what's important. I mean, hey, if you're out there and finances are not of any sort of concern, then hey, good on you. That's great. Not talking, not throwing any shade, but for those out there that aren't necessarily well off or are strapped, don't feel the need to show up a certain way because your neighbors are or your friends are or anything like that. And focus on the good, focus on the time spent, focus on the quality of just getting together, because like, yeah, you never know what tomorrow's going to hold. And sometimes when we just think that those people are going to be there, they might not. And it's a really hard pill to swallow.
I would also say whatever you're willing to spend on that and willing to put yourself behind, really look at, okay, how can I not feel like this again?
Yeah.
What can I use this money towards personally or as a team or whatever right? To develop something, whether it's a plan, a budget, a skill set, something that doesn't allow me to come back here next year. And I think that that is a big one that we need to look at. It's like, okay, if I don't like the position I'm in this Christmas, let's do something so that it's in a different spot.
Do something differently.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's the root of change, right? The root of insanity is just to keep doing it over and over again. We don't get better unless we reflect on it, right?
Yep.
There are arguments out there, just to counter what we've been saying, there are arguments out there that say, like, go live lavishly, but do it with the intent of figuring it out after.
Yeah.
Which is scary, but if you run that high-charging competitive, that's who you are, and you know that, that's a legitimate option, but guess what? That's like 5% of us.
There's a different level of self-awareness that has to be there too.
100%. Typically, the people that have that high self-charging discipline and everything aren't the ones that are worried about their Christmas finances.
No.
So that is just something to think about too. Don't put limits on yourself, but yourself, not everyone else, right? You can put a limit on the amount of energy you can give out because you have to be aware and you have to be ready for what's coming, and we know it's another year, and we know everything's going to happen again if we don't make some changes.
Right.
So don't add any more stress to the time. Spend it with family like we're supposed to, and if you're not with your family, call your friends, let them know.
Yeah.
Right. Take the initiative too. Like if you're sitting there on Christmas and you're like, someone hasn't said Merry Christmas to me, I'm not going to say it to them. I mean, I'd say the same for like birthdays, whatever else. Just like stop it. It's so poison.
Yeah.
I can hammer that into the ground.
Oh yeah, that's a completely other difference.
Yeah, it's totally. But it stretches along the same lines. Like stop it. Take the initiative, right? If someone pops into your head, give them a call, give them a text, do it. There's no bad things are going to happen if you do it with good intent.
Good intent. That's actually that's a lesson that I'm learning right now, is to not expect that people will reach out to you, and if you want people to talk to you, you have to be the first to take that initiative and water that flower first. Sometimes that it just is the way it is.
There are people out there that will never initiate a conversation, and if you want to be a part of their life, you have to initiate every one of them, and that's okay.
Yep, absolutely.
100%.
That's all I got for this one.
That's it, man. That's a big one. I just hope everyone has a good holiday season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Well, that is it for tonight. Please like, share, subscribe on whatever platform you're consuming this content on, and have a wonderful Merry Christmas. Cheers.
Cheers.